What's happening, guys? Welcome back. Let's talk about the Holosun EPS carry MRS. This particular version is a green dot. I prefer green over red, but there's nothing wrong with red dot. It's just personal preference. I feel like you can see the dot better. And I upgraded over the 407K Holosun green dot. That one was not solar. It didn't have multi-reticules. The multi-reticle thing, I personally don't care, but I guess it's a cool feature. I mean, options are good. So let's go down the list of what this thing offers. All right, so as far as reticles, it's a green 2 MOA dot or a 32 MOA circle. There's multiple combinations of those. I prefer the just a single dot. It is a K footprint. It comes with an adapter plate to go from RMSC to K footprint, which means that you can mount it to, like, let's say like a Hellcat if I'm not mistaken. But as it stands with the K footprint, it should be able to mount to a P365, such as this Spectre comp, the Shield Plus, and so forth. I mounted mine without a plate. You could mount the plate, but I like mine to sit as low as possible, so I'd mount it right to the slide perfectly. I can coat this with the iron sights. But continuing on some of the features. So this bad boy takes a 1620 battery. It is side loaded, which is cool. You don't have to dismount the optic, re-zero it. Me with red dots, green dots, I change the battery every birthday. Good to go. You don't have to worry about them dying. This is a solar powered failsafe model. I'll get into that. This guy has shake awake technology. It's made of 7075 aluminum, so it's durable, sturdy. It has a built-in rear notch sight. I don't know if you can see that there. It's waterproof, it's spherical glass, no distortion. And the best feature, or the selling point, it's an enclosed emitter. Now what that means is there's a little laser, and you might be able to see it right there on camera. It's a laser that emits, it projects on the front glass. And on typical red dots and optics, it's one glass, so it's open, so the laser is exposed. Even though the laser is enclosed, there's like a little tiny glass protecting it, but there's a lot of open space and you can get a lot of dust and particles on that front glass. Also with the emitter, technically, I mean, I guess it could happen. You can get dirt or dust in front of it and it would affect how the optic performs, you know, like the projected dot. You might not see it at all. It might look distorted. I never had that happen, but I could see it happening. Of course, it's protected by the elements as far as like rain, snow. All right, so personal thoughts. First of all, let me compare it to a larger Holosun solar optic. This is a 407C on a Walther 5-inch PDP full size. Let me show you guys the width. So, I mean, it's considerably thinner. You know, the EPS carry MRS is definitely designed for micro pistols. It's like roughly like about an inch thick. Little side comparison there. So being small is definitely an upgrade. That's cool. Standard optics kind of have like this like slope, and when you're carrying, like, let's say like in waistband, if you're concealed carrying, what's going to print is like the back of the grip and also, you know, the top of the optic towards this end. So the ones that are sloped that are a little bit thinner, you know, towards the front, I guess it's better as far as like printing. But the dimensions on this one, not that much different from the 407K. I mean, I'm not noticing any big difference in printing. The biggest selling point for me was that enclosed emitter. It wasn't the biggest deal to clean my 407K at the end of the day, but it was still something I had to do. I have like this little handheld squishy blower thing, a bristle brush. I also invested in like this USB rechargeable blower. It was pretty cool, worked well. But again, it's still like something you have to worry about, as opposed to like an enclosed emitter. You get anything on the glass, you could just use like a t-shirt to quickly wipe it and you're done. Not to mention just protecting the laser emitter in general. As far as like fogging, these are not supposed to fog. The way they're designed, they might have some kind of a gas, I'm not sure. But that's the technology where they shouldn't fog. I already talked about the profile being very similar to a 407K, so not much difference there as far as like size and concealability. As far as like holding zero and durability, admittedly full transparency, I took it out for a few hundred rounds of Federal 115 grain 9mm, held zero flawlessly. Of course, I have to further test it, but I do feel confident carrying this. I mean, it was like dead on at defensive distances, like 20 feet or so, 25 feet. I was getting some pretty solid groups. So it has a few modes. There's a manual mode where you can adjust the brightness manually. There's an auto solar failsafe mode. And let's say you adjust it manually and you like the brightness as far as like indoors and out, you find like a sweet spot, you can lock that setting. So if you accidentally hit the brightness and dimming buttons, it's not going to affect the dot. Now, if you put it in the auto failsafe mode, what happens is it runs off of the battery in low light. Then it defaults to the solar function once you get into bright enough light. Now, I read a couple of things. I read 50,000 working hours as far as like battery length. And I've also read like up to 100,000 hours when you start mixing in and using the solar failsafe function. So, I mean, like if your battery dies either way, if you set it manually, it dies. You have the solar backup. Now, in low light, you still see something that's very faint. What's cool about this particular model is that if you have it in the auto brightness, you can actually set like a default setting for the minimum brightness it'll stay at. Because one thing I noticed with these is if you leave it just in straight up auto, it gets like way too dim in the dark. But with this model, you can, again, like I said, set it to like a default base setting. That's what I have it set right now. I mean, that's the sweet spot for me. And then once I step outside, the solar kicks in and it brightens up. Really, really cool feature. The 407C and the 507C, to my knowledge, didn't do that. I like how this guy sits really low on the slide. Again, you can co-witness. I have this gears and barrel holster that I modified. Did a little cutout here for an optic. Used the Dremel, smoothed it out. I also added a claw. But yeah, this bad boy sits in there, you know, pretty perfect. This is a, it's like a passive retention. So if you tighten your belt, you know, holds it into place. For me, it works out well. I feel like it's a good balance of retention and the ability to draw quickly. Inside is lined with like a suede. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Claw definitely makes a difference for me. Gets the grip very snug to your body, which helps with concealability in like the 4 o'clock position or appendix. I carry in 4. So all in all, do I recommend this optic? I mean, hey, it's not cheap. I probably overpaid because I didn't bargain hunt enough. I paid like $460 for it. Do I think it's worth that? I mean, to me it is. I love the thing so far. It's rock solid. As far as like torque setting, I set it to like 15 inch-pounds. I read people complaining that Holosun doesn't send you the right screws, but the screws work for me. They sent like 3 sets. I used the shorter set and it bolted right to the slide. I mean, test it out. Don't force it. Hand tighten it. If there's something funky going on, back it out. Don't force it. Then you might have to use a plate to create enough space so these screws don't bottom out. Or you can use a Dremel and shorten the screws. But for me, it worked out perfect. I used the stock screws that Holosun gives you. Right to the slide, good to go. So that's it, guys. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Once again, I consider it a great upgrade. I love the thing. I found my 407K awesome. No real issues with that one. That one was like rock solid. The cool feature about this one is that it has the solar failsafe, the multi-redicule system, which you can adjust. And another great feature is it's an enclosed emitter. So for me, once again, I thought it was worth it. But if you find a deal on a 407K or 507K, if you're looking for like a micro compact optic, you can get those for cheap, man. Like $200, $250, maybe even cheaper. But guys, hope you enjoyed this short, quick review. Thanks for stopping by. If you appreciate the video and the information provided and opinions, consider hitting the like button. Also subscribe and appreciate it. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, take care, my friends. Stay safe.